Okay, today on the bench I was sent a Star Strider. It would walk, but by the time the gun door was supposed to open and the body was supposed to rotate, it would freeze up and not be able to do that, although you could still hear the motor running. So first things first, I realize it's already taken apart quite a bit here, but it just makes it easier to explain it. First thing I did was to remove the head, and I've kind of covered this in other videos, but basically you've got a tab here and here which this would all nest on, and then you can kind of lift and slide back as you lift, and you'll get the back ones to come up and out. You can get the head off, and once I had the head off, then I was able to get down inside, and you can see the little white gear right there. That's a plastic pinion gear, and that's on the motor. And the original one, which is a 9-tooth gear, was split. So it would still grab enough to allow the robot to walk, but it didn't grab enough to try to power the gun clicker, the door opening, and rotating the body around. So I replaced that with a brand new 9-tooth plastic gear, pressed it in place, and powered it up. And it was still struggling a lot to rotate. So I then separated it down to its important components. And basically this ring right here, which is going to connect to the bottom of the gearbox here. Didn't mean to turn it on. There we go. Didn't mean to turn it on, but it turned on. Had to separate the two, and then you've got these little tabs. They kind of stick over to the sides. You should be able to see some of those. You have to bend those at a right angle, then you can lift this ring off. Basically that keeps the ring centered and captive. And this part had a ton of friction to the lower plate. So I took it off, cleaned both this surface and the lower surface with alcohol to get all the grease off, then took some sandpaper and sanded both metal surfaces clean. I have found that normally you would think, gee, if there's a lot of friction between the two and they're not turning, I should lube it up. I found that if you go ahead and lube it up, basically it's just going to bind up a few months down the road when the grease thickens or when dust gets connected in there with it. If you are going to lube it up, use a dry lube, you know, like a graphite powder or something like that. But bare metal on bare metal has, through the time, proven to me to be the best way to go. Alright, so now I'm going to try to put this thing back together. When you're putting it together, you do have this gear that has to drop down into that hole. See that metal gear way down on the inside? That gear down on the inside is the one that drives the crank to make the legs walk. When this thing was running like it was a second ago, you've got these two timing gears here. And see that little ramp shaped thing? One of the gears has one less tooth than the other. So as they go around and around, they're almost the same diameter, but not quite, obviously. So as they go round and round, they're chasing each other and they'll crawl up the ramp. So I'll turn it on again. You guys watch for that and you'll see it when it lifts. And there it is. It's lifted up. Well, that lifts this gear up. And as that gear comes up, instead of connecting to the walk gear down there on the inside, it's now going to connect to this gear, which has to do with the rotomatic action. And you can see there is a spring on there to allow X amount of engagement time, but it also has a point where it bottoms out, where it can't go any further. And that's when it's going to make the body rotate. Now this piece right here, this has to do with the gun door, which is this little tab here. You can see how that works. Just the leverage mechanic. And is it easier to put together up or down? I think down, so let's run this till this pops back down. Okay. And now, see if I can remember which way this thing goes, right? I'm trying to line up that shaft into that hole, and then these 4 tabs into those 4 slots, and this onto that, all at the same time. Can everyone say all at the same time? Okay, I think I've got the back ones centered up. Now if we can get the front to drop down. Okay, so now that they're in there, now we have to bend those tabs over, and it's not so easy to get in there to do that. Now the front ones, you can just get on and give them a twist. They're not too bad. But the back ones, you're going to have to get back in there with something. And I don't think I can do this on camera, so just hang in there. I'm basically just bending those back tabs over. Or trying to. Not having a lot of luck with that one yet. Got it to move a little. I know, you guys have got nothing to look at. Just hang on. Hang in there. Okay. Let's see if we can get the camera where it can see. You can see the front 2 tabs I twisted, and then the back ones back in there, way back in there, I've bent them over. And that now holds the body. So what we need to do now is test what we've done so far to see if we've screwed it up or not. Okay, one thing we didn't do is when this piece comes down through there, see that part sticking down? That has to be bent up, otherwise, you saw how everything was shaking and jamming? That was getting caught. I'll show you. I'm going to bend this where it should have been, where I forgot to do it. I was thinking about too many different things at once. I've done enough of these, I shouldn't have forgot about that. Okay. So now you can see I took it and bent it out to the front. So instead of sticking down to get caught on everything, it now sticks out to the front. Let's see if that's better. There we go. Definitely better. I don't know if there's anything we can do for the little bit of wobble in the feet, because the linkage all seems fine. The bottom of the feet doesn't seem bent, so I believe that is just the way that one is built. So now we've got these front pieces to put on. We've got all these tabs that we have to line up. The little ones are the ones that get bent in the end to hold everything in place, and it's usually easier to start one side on first, like that, and then come around and try to get the other side in place, like that. And you'll notice how they provided holes on the bottom ones. You need something pointy. Where's my pointy thing? Got this pointy thing. Of course, you could use a little Allen wrench, you could use a little drill bit, you could use a lot of different things. But you find something. This pointy thing has got glue on it. It's making it hard to poke in there. So I'm going to use an Allen wrench. Just grab the smallest one that I've got here. Let's poke it in the hole. So you go in the hole and you just bend it forward, and that should bend that tab. That gets the lower ones. Like so. And I'll leave these out in case I need them again before we're done, because I might. The upper ones we should be able to reach in and get with some needle nose pliers or whatever, and just give them a twist so there's no way they can pull out on their own. There we go. That's a goot. And we've got the top. Not quite sure how much I want to straighten these out. Initially, let's just try fitting this all together. Again, you can see how there's tabs and tabs, and how everything can kind of just tab together there, and then come down to where it can meet these little tabs here, and get these back ones to start in their holes. And this is another good job for that little Allen wrench to get these back ones. So reach in that hole and bend that tab up. The one near the switch is always more difficult. And then you've got the shoulder tabs. And sometimes I like to just do those with my finger because I don't want a super sharp bend there, and I don't want to bend them super fast because the tabs will tend to break. And you never know when you might have to get in there again. And I got this tab above the switch, still isn't quite right. There we go. Now we got it. Okay. So for any of you that will want to know how to get in one of these, and if you get in there, what's the most common problems you're going to find? Well, it's generally going to be the pinion gear on the motor. Let's move this camera back further so we can get the whole robot in the shot. And let's find out if we've been successful. Alright. I'm going to stop it with the feet together. So there you have it. There's a Starrider repair for motor pinion gear and for body turn binding, just in case it happens to help any of you.